here's the thing. I know this is going to ruffle a lot of people's feathers. Not y'all. The people that are probably watching this show right now. Because they are mad. My phone was ringing off the chain today with all of the sources that gave me information. And they asked Tasha why. And I said, because you punk asses backed out. See, what happened in the first case will never happen to me again. And I'll be damned. And here's the thing. This has nothing to do with a lawsuit, but it just has everything to do with the way I run my business now. Because when I first started this, I was just shooting the shit with y'all. And I still shoot the shit with y'all. But now I am a corporation. I got a team. I can't be playing out here with y'all punks. So here's what happened. Because I know there's a lot of misconception out there that Tasha did not do her due diligence. Tasha did not reach out before she issued an apology. See, this is why you get sued. Let me tell you what had happened. We interviewed Billy Sorrells. Billy Sorrells came to tell us a story about Reggie. Reggie is unalived, and Reggie was unalived by Katt Williams' bodyguard on a property that Katt Williams was renting but did not own. All of this is facts. Let's talk about it. This is stuff that I haven't even discussed to the public that you're going to get today because y'all going to stop playing with my name today. Okay. So, Billy Sorrells was here to say that basically, he was irritated with how Katt Williams was handling the unaliving of Reggie Carroll by his bodyguard. And he felt like Katt had something to do with it because Katt never came public to state his condolences for Reggie. So he had to have something to do with it. He also came out to state, Billy Sorrells, that according to him, Katt does drugs and did drugs with him. That's what Billy Sorrells said. And said that he had spoke with the family being the brother here, Stephen Williams. And that he would connect me with the brother to help me to figure out what's going on with Katt's adopted kids, Katt's cases, and Reggie Carroll. And that this ain't the first time that Katt has allegedly had somebody unalived. Oh, I'm finna tell it all today. Before we head over to TashaKLive.com. Because I just gotta, y'all gonna stop playing my name. And when I tell you, I sit next to everybody now, this platform, y'all have really put us in a position where we can call anybody. Trump will come sit down. I don't want him to. But that's just where we are now. So, we ended up Stephen actually hit us. And was like, hey, I'm ready. Okay, cool, no problem, come down. So then he backed out, said he wanted to be paid. I said, sir, we don't pay. That's not what we're doing here, okay? Now, if you need a little glam fee or something, $200, get you a haircut, outfit, we get that because, regular people don't have this type of lifestyle. They don't have the money, so we do the same package that Dr. Phil give you, a Spirit flight, you know what I'm saying, some money for some food, but we ain't finna, no, we don't do that. So we ended up, giving him a glam fee because he had to get an outfit, the Cam Newton outfit. His girlfriend came in a matching outfit. He said it was his assistant. We figured out it was his girlfriend. But we ended up sitting down with Steve. Now, I'm prepared to talk to Steve about him growing up with Katt. I had no clue what he was going to say or not say or allude to in that interview until we sat down. And then I was just like, oh, he got that same lingo as Katt. How they speak in riddles and stuff like that. But Katt always makes his point because he's a comedian. So he's an entertainer. He knows how to communicate. But him, it's like you could tell that they grew up in the same house, got the same parents, they look alike and everything like that. And the way they speak like intellects, But he never really made a point. And as you saw in that interview, I was just like, where are we going with this? And so I had to kind of what are you saying? Are you saying Katt molested? What are you saying? So after we were done with that interview, and he left, I'm in LA and I'm talking to my team. I said, I had no clue that he was coming here to sit down and tell a story about his brother allegedly, inappropriately touching him with his cousin when he was just 5 years old and Katt was 13. That was the reason why he left the house. I had no clue. So what did I do? I called the closest person that was next to Katt, which is Shekinah. Okay? Shekinah works for Katt. So I called Shekinah, and me and Shekinah have worked together on many stories, the T.I. and Tiny story, a lot of stories, okay? So Shekinah's been around as a wino, as a head wino for a long time. So y'all make sure y'all show some love. We got into it over the weekend over this story. And he had to tell us to calm down. He was like, y'all need to, I was just like, nah, because she planned. So right after we did the interview, as soon as he left, I said, I don't know where to go with this. And I wasn't expecting to hear such harsh allegations against Katt. I was just expecting to hear things about his childhood that maybe he just didn't disclose, or maybe the relationship with Reggie Carroll, or maybe just how his brother operates. Why is it that his brother is just so hated by millions? You know what I'm saying? You know how family can give a different insight? And we've interviewed plenty of family members that have been right. And so I called Shekinah. I said, hey, said, I need you to make a call for me. And she said, what's up? I said, I need you to call Katt. She was like, why? I said, because I just interviewed his brother. She was like, what brother? I said, right. I never knew about this brother. I'm just as confused as you. I need to talk to Katt about his brother's interview. She said, well, he about to go on stage. I don't know if he want to be bothered with this stuff. I said, well, listen, I don't want to put it out until he comes forward, right? He has to address this. I cannot put it out. At the level my platform is, it's too political, too controversial. There's a bag involved now when people sue. Ain't nobody finna come at me crazy and catch me slipping no more. So, Shekinah called. She called back. She was just like, listen, they ain't answering the phone. I'm going to need you to give me some time to get with his team. I said, okay. She said, give me 48 hours. I said, all right, bet. I'll give you 48 hours. Get to him. We held the interview. I even confirmed with Ray J and Orlando Brown. It's A1, I'm sorry. I said, hey, y'all know this Katt? They said, yeah, we partied together. I said, oh, okay. All right, cool. No problem. Because I'm sitting here trying to source the information while I'm waiting on Shekinah, because I know she works for Katt Williams, right? So as the days go by, we don't hear anything. Billy calls us with some more information. His alleged stepdaughter, well, not stepdaughter. Apparently, I don't know the story. All I know is that she claims, and everybody says, that TT is his daughter. Her name is Tatiana. Okay. So as we're trying to wait on Katt's team to verify this, we get on the phone with Hazel Weed. Not only do we get on the phone with Hazel Weed, we get more tips from other people who we will not name because, I do not want those allegations out here because I just can't confirm or deny them, right? But you know how everybody just start coming out the woodwork. So Hazel Weed tells a story that is insane about, her being with Katt. And she was like, you didn't notice during our interview how when you asked if I wanted to be with him again and how I would just start laughing. And I was just like, yeah. And she was just like, yeah, it's because he's really dangerous. And I was like, what do you mean he's dangerous? She was like, he's dangerous. Like, I watched him beat his bodyguards. I watched him and his manager, Lena, talk about bodies being buried at Lake Lanier behind his house. It was like a real horror story. Jasmine, this is the first time Jasmine is even hearing this stuff, right? So it was inside. I said, what are you talking? She was like, yeah. She was like, so the feds raided the house. I was there. He held me hostage. There's also recordings of a young man that I was sent telling the sheriff's office that Katt Williams had held him hostage. And I'm like, okay, this is the second person that has said that Katt has held him hostage. Then we got lawsuits that were filed against him, and one girl did allege that he had her in the bathroom, and two women, one being his manager, the other being TT, had beat her, and then she saw a Bible on the bed with witchcraft in the book. And there was another personal assistant that sued, said he punched her in the face. A lot of these lawsuits haven't gone anywhere. There's women online that are claiming to be his ex-wife and have kids by him, and the amount of information that just poured on my desk, I'm like, all right, everybody can't be lying. We're going to go forward with the story. Shekinah didn't get back to me. Story goes public. Phone ringing off the hook. More people are coming forward. I'm like, Katt's not going to say nothing? Like, he really going to let his brother come out here and say this? Now, y'all are just like, because y'all are only seeing this story. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes with all the other stories that I got. And the lawsuit paperwork and all this stuff, right? And even Hazel alleged, I'm like, well, he doesn't have a criminal record. She's like, yeah, because they put Katt in a mental institution so that it doesn't show up. All of the psychiatric records are held, but he's really crazy. I got videos. I got all this. I'm going to give it to you. She's like, but when the other women come forward, I'm going to come forward because I don't want to be the only person, you know what I'm saying, coming forward with these allegations because the internet is going to drag me, but there's going to be a Me Too movement on Katt. I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. So at this moment, this is the last person that I would have thought that would have been on my desk for some bullshit, right? We don't even really report on Katt up over here. Y'all know that. I've always expressed that I'm a fan of Katt. So I get a call, I think it was last Saturday. I was out with my husband, if I'm not mistaken. Was it last Saturday? Yeah, it was last Saturday. Maybe Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. I was out with my husband. We were at a restaurant, a Greek restaurant. She kind of calls me. And she, you know, real disrespectful. I told you these folk be lying. You need to take this video down. I said, who the fuck you talking to? I'm sitting down, I'm like, bitch, I'm out with my husband. I'm off work right now. I'm not clocked in. Who is you talking to and what is you talking? I told you these folk be lying. They don't even know him like that. Da-da-da-da. I said, well, I'm not here to argue with you, Shekinah. I ain't got time. I'm not finna get my energy in a bad place. I'm about to get some dick tonight. I'm not finna with you like this. You're not finna mess with my mood, right? I said, ask Katt about TT. I asked you to get Katt on the phone before the video went public. You let a whole week or two go by, and now you want to call me fussing, talking about, well, you do me favors and take videos down. I took a video down for you. I ain't never took no video down for nobody else. Now, mind you, Shekinah is close to everybody. John Gray, she called me about the John Gray situation. Hey, Tasha, you know what I'm saying? Please don't put that out. He's a good man. He's a good man. I said, yeah, he's a good man with a micro penis. You goddamn right, he's a good man. I see him down there beating it off for a massage therapist that he met on Craigslist for some crab legs. Sending her $50. Man, get the fuck out of here, bro. We're not doing this today. So I said, listen, ask him about TT and call me back. She called back 5 minutes. I go back, sit down at the table with my husband. I got my little hookah. We sitting over there. We cheering. Me and my husband like cheer. Phone ringing again. 9 calls. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Are they following me in the chat? So she calls me again. Tasha, I told you. I said, Shekinah, you not going to talk to me crazy? What is the problem? She puts Katt on the phone. Why did you even have to call me with that type of energy? I asked you to do this last week. So Katt starts talking. He just gets right into it. I'm like, Katt, listen. I cannot talk to you about this right now. I'm out with my husband. We don't get a lot of time together. We got these kids back in the house now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we getting our alone time. He kind of ignored me, kept talking. I was like, Katt, I cannot do this right now, okay? How about tomorrow? He's like, well, the people I'm with, I'm not going to be with tomorrow. I was like, all right, cool. Well, hit me when you can. So he hung up the phone. Nice to meet you. I get back to my husband. Fine. Shekinah calls again. I did not pick up. Next day around 12, I'm getting ready to take my kids to the pool. Shekinah calls again. I said, Shekinah, I cannot do this right now. The weekends is for my children. They were out of school on Monday. It was Columbus Day. You know what day? When did Columbus Day? That day, yeah. Columbus Day. Listen. So she puts Katt on the phone again. I said, I thought you was unavailable. She was like, well, he said, I made myself available. We spent 2 hours on the phone. I said, listen, I told my husband, I said, just take the kids to the pool. Let me go ahead and get this out of the way so we can figure this out. And then we'll be done with everything, okay? So he takes the kids to the pool. I'm on the phone with Katt. I hit him with everything. Everything that Hazel said, everything that every source has ever said. All the lawsuits, he answered specific. Very specific. And here's the thing. If his brother is coming to me telling me that he doesn't have a relationship with his parents, why is his parents on stage with him in Cincinnati when they gave him the key to the city? You said Katt ain't talked to his parents in years. But I'm looking at a video of Katt on stage and his parents are there and he's receiving a key to the city in Cincinnati. So I'm like, hold up. So now I'm sitting back, I'm like, oh my God, damn, I done got. He said, listen, it's not your fault, Tasha. I know what you do for a living. I get it. And he said that there's a lot of people out here you got on that I appreciate you for, because there's a lot of people that really, really need to be taken down. He said, but my brother, and he said respectfully, he ended up sending me the night when I told him I couldn't talk to him, the psychiatric records on his brother that were pulled from Pacer. So apparently his brother has been in and out of mental institutions since he was a child. Now, here's the thing. I'm not at liberty to say that maybe the reason he was in the mental institution was because whatever he said his brother did is the reason why he's going crazy. I don't know. All I'm saying is that if Steven is coming to me with no receipts, and it's the only receipt he is just his brother. We got Billy, we got Hazel, we got all these people, right? But if Katt is coming to me with paperwork and with family members, and they got another brother named Brian that is saying, listen, we just love Steve. Katt's like, I named Steve myself. Steve is just Steve. Everybody in the family know how Steve be doing. Steve tell elaborate stories, and we just don't pay him no mind. But they could be somewhat believable, and I get it, because I've never, ever talked about him out here. A man coming forward, he's my brother. Of course, people are going to believe him. And then on top of that, everything else that we got. So I'm just like, at this point, lied about the parents. Katt said everything that my parents have, they have because of me. Like, I paid for everything. I've spent hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars on my parents. They're straight. He cannot afford to take care of my parents. And what he wants is money from me. And why would I take care of him? He said he had the state institution to do that. I said, And we're not here to laugh about mental health, guys. We're not here, okay? So all I'm saying is, me, I'm transparent. I'm going to put it all on the table on what it really was. And I saw Hazel E in the comments today, and I've relayed Hazel E the long way. But here's the thing. She's like, when I issued a statement saying I'm taking the videos down, because if one team is coming with receipts and the other team is not, what am I supposed to do at this point? And all of this could have been avoided had Katt's team would have taken it back to him, but they waited too late. And I saw him getting their ass for doing that. Like, why didn't y'all come? And they was like, well, we didn't want to bother you with all this stuff. And he was like, well, you need to bother me, because now it's too late. All of this stuff is out there. And that's why me and Shekinah got into it. We made up last night, though. Me and her made up last night. We was on the phone for 2 hours. Me and her, that's my homegirl. That's my dog. I ain't gonna lie. But at the end of the day, I am not in this business. We gossip, we laugh, we have fun. We expose people that need to be exposed. But if there's something that I need to know, I would have never aired his interview with a psychiatric record, with the level of record that he has. I would not do that. And we cannot access those records. You can't access people's psychiatric records. That's a family thing. And when he talked about in the interview that he had just got out of a psychiatric hospital. I did not know. So here's the thing. To everybody that came forth with their stories and with somewhat of a receipt, it's like, but if he's transparent and everything, I'm like, what am I supposed to do at this point? So I'm like, I'm going to take it down. And that's exactly what I did. I took it down until further notice. Now, I told him, I said, listen, if anybody else comes forward with to me on shit, Katt, you know my MO. He said, just call me. He said, I just want you to put me on the phone with him. Just call me. I'm transparent, I'm open. Whatever it is, they pissed. The money train has ended. I'm not taking care of people the way I used to take care of them. If they want to be taken care of, they got to work. They got to get on this tour. They got to work. They got to put in work. I'm not just handing out no money. Jasmine, we got files on the screen.
Oh, that's me. They can't see that.
You sure?
I'm more than sure.
Okay. All right. So until further notice, that interview is down. And we asked Steven for 2 weeks to provide us the parents and the brothers and sisters, the kids, and Katt said he can't because he don't know them. He ain't never met them. He's been in a mental institution his whole life. So I'm just inclined to believe at this time, while we're waiting on paperwork from Steve's team, Katt got to us first. And all of this could have been avoided. So for y'all saying, oh, you should have did your research before you did that, we did all that. We did all that. But unfortunately, some things are just out of my hand. So don't play with my name. Don't play, because y'all know I will tell you the truth before anybody else will. I ain't got nothing to hide up here. I'm a person just like y'all. I take a shit, I fart. Sometimes I wash my ass. Sometimes I don't. I'm a regular, everyday human. You said, who's the male version of Jaguar? You talking about Cat brother? We're done. We're not laughing at the middle of the year. I'm just saying that comment caught me off guard, okay? Hold on for a second. Hold on. Line again. You wanted to take that. Who wanted to take Cat down? I have a job to do, and listen, you don't have to watch.
We have never just sat and said, who can we?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We sit down like, who can we take down today? Man, I be looking for the stories on who fucking who. That's all I want. Like, who messing with who? That's it. But I do not. I don't even like covering stories no more on like involving children or things of that such. Had he would have told me that, I'd probably be like, because I just don't want those stories on my platform no more. But at the end of the day, y'all can sit here and talk shit, but y'all still gonna watch. It is what it is. But Katt gives his love to the winos. He said he has been a wino for many years and to keep it up. And that's what people are really mad about, is the fact that they sit up here and they try to discredit me. And I'm like, well, how am I not credible and I call these people on the phone? Like,
I saw that Netflix special. I know you're a wino.
oh, yeah, we saw the last Netflix special. We know that he's a wino. He presented it like we do. You said tell Katt to provide paperwork that he was emancipated at 13. Okay. TK will put her husband herself if they wrong. I don't know what you mean by that. Okay. You said you believe it though, Tasha. Here's the thing. Everybody can't be lying. And I told him that. I said, Katt, listen, everybody can't be lying. He said, I know. I said, so because you are the only one that gave me paperwork to back up everything that you're saying, and I'm still waiting on the paperwork from the others. Hazel E still ain't sent me the videos. She said she got videos. Steve said he was going to send me the kids. I ain't seen not one name of the kids. I had to find those out myself. What am I supposed to do? If you're a victim, I'm on your side. True story. I was 37, pregnant, and my ass was on a walker. Why? He took all my damn vitamin D. Now, even though I was taking a prenatal, he took that too, and I was breastfeeding, and he took more. I didn't find out until 3 years later that my vitamin D was so low. I took a test. Here's the test. And as you can see, severely so low in vitamin D3 that they had to supplement me 50,000 IUs, my doctor, okay, at 40 years old. I couldn't walk from my office to my house, which was across the street. I had to wear thick sole shoes just to ease up the pain on my feet. Would have known it would have been a simple vitamin deficiency. And so for that reason, I keep me some vitamin D3. Why? Because it helps the body to absorb calcium, to support the immune system so that the immune system won't cause inflammation, which will cause pain. And so this is the one that I particularly use, which is 10,000 IUs. It is flavored. I love that it has vitamin C here. You don't need to take it every day. I would suggest that you do talk to your doctor. You may need a test. Hop on shoptkdeals.com. Use the coupon code TK10 to get 10% off this very potent vitamin D3, okay?